Once upon a time in a beautiful palace, there lived a kind and gentle girl named Ella. She lived happily with her father, enjoying every day together. They laughed and played from morning till night, sharing stories and adventures. Their home was always warm and cozy, filled with the smell of delicious food. Every meal was a treat, and there was always enough to share. Life felt safe, joyful, and full of love. Ella had a big room with a warm, cozy bed and soft pillows. She'd fine clothes and shiny jewelry. Her room was bright and beautiful, and she loved it very much. One day, Ella was walking outside the palace when she saw a young beggar sitting nearby. "That poor boy," Ella said. Ella gave some bread to the boy. "Thank you, miss," the boy said. A few days later, Ella's father got married. Ella was very happy for him and welcomed her new family with a smile. Her stepmother had 2 daughters. The older one was tall and thin, and the younger one was short and plump. One day, Ella's father became very ill. Despite her care, he grew weaker and soon passed away. Ella was heartbroken, and her life changed forever. After Ella's father passed away, her stepmother and stepsisters became cruel. Ella remained kind and polite, but she had to work hard every day, serving them, cooking their meals, washing the dishes, and mopping the floors. Her stepsisters, Anastasia and Drizella, wore fancy dresses and slept in soft feather beds, while Ella wore old tattered clothes and slept on a hard bed. Anastasia spent her days napping, and Drizella ate all day, leaving Ella to do all the chores from morning till night. Ella liked to sit near the fire. It reminded her of her father. "I miss him so much," she thought sadly. Anastasia and Drizella saw her sitting there. Drizella giggled. "Look at you. You're all covered in ashes," Anastasia added with a sneer. "She likes sitting in the cinders. Let's call her Cinderella." The next morning, a loud trumpet sounded through the air. Cinderella quickly wiped her hands on her apron and followed her stepmother and stepsisters outside to see what was happening. Feeling curious and hopeful, she wondered what news the royal messenger had brought. A large crowd had gathered in the street as the royal messenger arrived. Sitting tall on his horse, he unrolled a long scroll and made an important announcement. The prince would be hosting a grand ball, and all the fine ladies of the kingdom were invited to attend. Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters were overjoyed by the news. Anastasia and Drizella were excited about the princess ball. The 3 of them, stepsisters and their mother, sat together on the sofa, talking eagerly about the event. Anastasia hoped the prince would ask her to marry him, while Drizella was sure he would fall in love with her because of her beauty. Their mother reminded them that both of them were beautiful. Cinderella quietly thought about the fun of music and dancing, but her stepmother laughed and said she could not go because she was not a fine lady. Both stepsisters, Anastasia and Drizella, got ready to go to the ball. They were very excited to attend, and each wore a dress so fancy and extravagant that they were sure no one at the ball would look like them. Cinderella sat outside, feeling lonely and tired. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Suddenly a warm light appeared. Cinderella looked up and saw a small woman with wings that sparkled like stars. "Who are you?" she asked. "I'm your fairy godmother," the woman said kindly. "Why are you crying?" "My life is hard," Cinderella whispered. "I wish I could go to the ball," the fairy godmother smiled. "Then you shall go." The fairy godmother waved her wand, and a sparkling light surrounded Cinderella. Her rags disappeared and were replaced by a beautiful gown with shining jewels. Her hair looked perfect, and on her feet were the most beautiful glass slippers. "You look like a real princess," said the fairy godmother. "But my magic will only last until midnight. You must be home before the clock strikes 12. Cinderella gasped. "I promise!" At the ball, the prince danced with many girls, but he didn't like any of them. Suddenly, from the top of the stairs, a beautiful princess appeared. All the guests at the ball were stunned when they saw her. The prince saw Cinderella and was amazed by her beauty. He went to her and asked her to dance. Cinderella was over the moon when the prince asked her. They danced and danced for a long time. Her stepsisters watched them with envy. They didn't know that the beautiful princess was actually Cinderella. They both whispered to each other, "Who is she?" While dancing with the prince, Cinderella suddenly looked up at the big royal clock. She gasped, her eyes wide with fear. "Oh no, it's midnight," she whispered. "I must go." The prince reached for her hand. "Wait, please, don't go," he said. But Cinderella quickly turned and ran down the marble steps, her gown shimmering as she rushed outside. One glass slipper slipped off her foot, but she didn't stop. A moment later, the prince reached the staircase. He saw the sparkling glass slipper lying there. He gently picked it up and whispered, "This belongs to her. I must find that princess." The prince searched everywhere to find the girl who owned the glass slipper. He and his guards visited every house in the kingdom, but no one's foot fit the shoe. At last, the prince and his guards arrived at Cinderella's place. The prince's guard announced, "Whomever this glass slipper fits, the prince will marry her." When Cinderella's stepsisters heard this, they were very excited. Both of them smiled proudly, thinking, "This slipper will surely fit one of us." First, the prince's guard tried the glass slipper on the elder sister, Anastasia. But it was too big for her feet. Anastasia looked disappointed and frustrated, realizing the slipper did not fit her. Next, it was Drizella's turn. Her feet were too big for the glass slipper. She tried very hard to put her feet into it, struggling with all her strength, but she failed. Finally, it was Cinderella's turn. She slipped her foot into the glass slipper, and it fit perfectly, as if it had been made just for her. Her stepmother and stepsisters were shocked and speechless at the sight, unable to believe that the slipper fit Cinderella so perfectly. The prince was overjoyed to have found the girl he had been searching for all this time. His heart soared with happiness, knowing that the one who fit the glass slipper perfectly was his true princess.